This doesn't feel like my living room at all. This is weird, but it's great to be back at the Shared Universe Studios in Eatontown, New Jersey. I'm Rob Akampora. This is the A Game. And we have, first off, in the dark shadows from his house, from Dramarama, Peter Wood, who officially becomes a semi-regular on this show. So thank you for that, Peter.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And part of the reason he is here is because of these two gentlemen who decided to come in studio, which I appreciate, and cheers to that. Singer, songwriter, accomplished musician, and many other things that you will find out is Tom Kanach. Tom, thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Ron, for having us.
And part of his band is a guy I've known for, God, since
1943.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Joe Rowley, what up, man?
Yeah.
Glad to have you guys all here. Listen, we're going to talk about a lot of things, including debut the new video that you have created, and we'll talk about that. Before we even get started, you had an EP that came out about 7-8 months ago, roughly?
November.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, Christian, if you click photo 4, it's the cover art from the EP, and it features a lot of songs that is up on your YouTube page, so they can find it there. If they want to purchase music, by the way, where can they go?
Everywhere.
There you go. That covers everything. But to give you an idea of what we're talking about with Tom Kanach, why don't we fire up the song, Who Do You Blame? This is Tom Kanach here on the A Game. Enjoy.
Who do you blame? Now that hope is dead, what will you claim? When the verdict's right, will you complain about the pain it caused you?
From his latest video and latest EP, that is Tom Kanach here on the A Game. We will be debuting his new video when we wrap up tonight. Now, Close Your Eyes is the name of the song. You guys find that videos now become so important to really try to promote a new song where it's like, okay, we go back a few years and it was all about, okay, you want to get radio airplay, you want to get the song out. Video was sort of a luxury. Now it's almost like a necessity. Would you agree with that, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, social media and who you are and letting people have a chance to see you, that's all very, very important.
Yeah.
And videos are really the only outlet right now because of the pandemic that, you can get out there. So I shot the first one we shot together in the basement of Joe's where we rehearse. And then this last one I shot in front of a sheet. So it was a step up from Joe's.
I beg your pardon?
Joe's basement to a sheet. We're going to have to dive a little bit more into that. But a couple of things we're going to get to before we even get there. First off, there is a photo of two men, if you would like to get that up, because it is Peter Wood along with Tom here.
I know that guy.
I know both of you guys, but Peter, I got to ask, how did you guys hook up? Because, you are synonymous with Dramarama, but I actually saw you at the Brighton Bar right before the pandemic hit. You guys are doing a show. Great show, by the way. So it got me sold on what was going on musically. But where did you come involved in this, Pete? Whereabouts?
We met in prison. And when we get out, we're going to start a group. And here we are.
Let's keep those stories to just that sentence.
Well, here's the thing. It's a podcast. If this is a radio, I'd be like going, we got to stop right there. I don't have to do that. You can go wherever you want, which is kind of scary, come to think of it.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Pete, I missed that guitar.
I know.
Where is it? You still have it, right? You didn't pawn it.
Which one? The ones
The
behind
guitar in that photo. No.
That's right there. It's not.
Oh, I can't see it. Look in the dark background and see the guitars that are hidden in the mist.
What is there, about 27 back there? I'm trying to count.
Pete, I think a 30-watt bulb is probably not enough for that room.
My pile of laundry in the back, and I figured that's more appropriate for music. I used to have a room. Now I have a wall. That's about how far it goes now.
That's absolutely what happens. How much space does Moose get?
He gets quite a bit. He could be running here in any second. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, we expect an appearance. That's going to happen at some point.
Guest star.
That is a very cute dog, by the way.
He is. He's made for television.
Except for that time he tried to bite me. Other than that, it was fine.
Wait a minute. Pete's dog tried to bite you, really?
No, Pete was in the driveway. I was talking to him. The dog jumped up in the back seat. It's a little urine.
That was going to lick you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got urine and licking. This podcast is going right down the toilet.
It's a Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to Happy Hour.
There you go.
Interesting thing is I'm doing my homework on you. You are actually somebody who I look at and go, okay, you're smart, you're unconventional. What the hell are you doing in rock music? Really?
Well, I've always been a musician. That's all I've really ever been. The other things that I do, day job and things like that, are the things that I do to, make ends meet and put kids through school and all that stuff. But I started writing songs when I was 4. So I've always been a musician. And first couple songs got my mouth washed out with soap. I was the first couple parodies that I came up with, my mom was not as thrilled with.
Okay, parodies were based on what?
So nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I thought vagina was a word. And then
remember that song.
And then and there was a ton of other terrible things. But as a boy, I thought cursing in songs was fun. So my mom didn't think that was funny. But I always wrote songs. I bought one of those. I talked my parents into buying one of those keyboards, the Lowry little keyboard with the pedal, and it had the drum beats and everything. And I loved it. Except mine, when I turned the rhythm on, it was stuck to the bossa nova beat at about 145 beats per minute. So no ballads. It was all fast and then very bossa nova. So
that's interesting.
But I used to put fish weights on it to play. I've always done music and record. I always try to create through that medium because music always made me feel happy and feel good.
So no matter what happens in your life, even if you can go further with the career, it's always going to be something where it's like going, look, this is my outlet. This is something that I love to do, and I'm always going to just find a way to do it.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, I played in a lot of bands and almost made it. And then at some point in time, I realized that I wasn't going to make enough money to support a family, and I was starting to have children, and I really loved being a dad. I would not have done anything differently. And then I did that. I committed myself to that. I didn't
Right.
want to be a part-time dad. And so I raised my kids to a certain point and always wrote, always played, always did little gigs here and there. But, you know, concentrated effort. A couple of years back, Joe and I worked on an album with Billy Siegel.
Yeah. Billy, who's part of the Whirling Dervishes and part of the Dramarama East Coast version.
Yeah.
Pete. Yeah.
Which is how Pete and I know each other truly.
Yeah.
The prison thing was an afterthought.
Afterthought, of course. Well, prison's always an afterthought. You never really think about it in the first thought. Please.
I think about it right up front. I think about the consequence. Anyway, no, Billy was on that, and then Russ McAdoo played drums on that, and it took a couple of years to record all those songs, and then afterwards, you know, we started playing and demoing through songs, and then, you know, Joe suggested we do a band, and I love playing with Joe. Joe's, you know, the perfect bass player for me. Joe plays bass like I wish I could play bass if I could really play bass.
I'm really great, Rob.
Oh, dude, I've known this since 1943. Come on now.
Listen, you wait till you hear the new songs that we're recording now. We're releasing an album called Change in September.
That's cool.
And now Close Your Eyes is the first song off of that, but Joe's bass playing on it is exceptional.
You know, like me and Pete might not have had as much book learning as Tom with his fancy schools and toothbrushes.
Really?
But
Exactly.
he hardly ever talks down to us, and he makes us feel
That's good.
he
That's
makes
important.
us feel good to be around.
You see, he can't wave that Wharton certificate in your face and just kind of go, "Look at me."
Yeah.
That this man is certified from Wharton. That you don't get that every day. I'm sorry, it's an accomplishment.
There are
friend.
in career things you have to do to continue to grow and
Right.
learn and keep up with, you know, technology and that sort of stuff. But I do not yell at Joe on a regular basis.
Semi-regular Joe.
Yeah. He always apologizes and gives me flowers. So
Wait a minute, Pete. I think they met in prison if they're giving flowers. Wait a minute.
Could be. Maybe that's the story. What?
Yeah. So to answer your question from 5 hours ago,
No, right.
I love music and music is good.
Now, let me go back. What is it about 2017 or 2016 where you guys really started doing all this stuff together?
I guess like 2014 we started doing
2014, okay.
Undertow.
Yeah,
like-
and the reason I'm going to bring up on the show for a second, Christian, I want you to put up a photo of Tom. It's actually at Carnegie Hall, which I found very interesting. It was like going, so you are somebody who appreciates opera, obviously, and when you were doing music for Undertow, I mean, was in a sense it was like that was your expression.
So when I was a kid in Food Town, the Food Town by us, where I live is the one with the evil clown in Middletown.
Oh my God, I know exactly what you're talking. If you're in Middletown, New Jersey, this is a landmark. It truly is.
So they would have albums at right by the cash register for 99 cents. And Funkin' Wagner made a series of classical albums in I want to say it was the 40s. I don't know what year it was. And Beethoven's Sixth Symphony was one. And I was curious what classical music was like. I mean, I listened to Buddy Holly and the Four Seasons growing up, but and Sam Cooke. My dad was a big Sam Cooke fan.
Hey, nothing wrong with Sam Cooke.
And I loved all that, but I was curious about classical. Beethoven's Sixth Symphony, the Pastoral in F major, was the record. My mom was willing to part with 99 cents to shut me up. I got home and I listened to it, and then I realized that it was a story. Like, it was telling a story about nature and, you know, the peacefulness, and it was beautiful. I loved it. It's still my favorite piece of classical music.
Wow.
And I'd never seen it live. And this year we went to see it at Carnegie Hall. It was sometime in February, right before the pandemic. And I loved it. But as a kid, that was something I listened to that was like, you know, like a fantasy world that you could escape into. It was beautiful. And I loved the melodies and tried to steal them many times, not successful in doing so.
But it is interesting that he brings this whole thing where most rock people, and Pete, you can attest to this. I mean, most rockers are just rockers. There's a depth to this that you just go, whoa, wait a minute. I mean, he's all over the map. I mean, so when you're creating music together, how do you kind of focus it all together? Because you got this sort of like this man who could go 17 different ways musically.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's an honest
I mean,
answer.
I enjoy playing it. Like I feel I feel my bass playing fits in with what he's doing, and it's melodic, and it leaves space for me. Like, I always feel Pete is Pete, and you know, everything he does is great. It's like he plays. I might toil over a bass line, and then, you know, we're going to go into the studio, and it's like, I wonder what Pete's going to do, and people will just be like, okay, I got the chords, and he plays. It's like, oh, well, that's great.
Yeah,
you know, it's great. You know, love playing with you, Pete.
It's a labor of love.
Pete is Pete is the best instinctive guitar player I've ever played with. Like, I agonize over everything and overthink it. And one of the things that's great with Joe is Joe will just be like, ignore me until he needs a decision, and then, you know, try to keep me organized. When we did Undertow, Billy Siegel and I were a little out of control. One of the tracks had like 72 tracks on it. Joe's like, when we do this, we're not doing that. You get one track for guitar and a couple tracks for vocals. So he sort of reels me in a little bit and keeps me from being a lunatic.
Well, again, I would imagine it's getting inside your mind that you're kind of maybe thinking, oh, I could do about 70, like you said, 72. I can do it 72 different ways. So it's kind of that. This is where Joe, you're kind of coming in saying, okay, if I steer the ship this way, we'll still get the sound that we want. We don't need to maybe tangent it too much, so to speak.
Yeah, I like simple records, like with stripped down. Or to me, it's like if less things, it sounds bigger. And but
and Joe made me go back and listen to a lot of like records, like listen to Bad Company, and I listened to some early Kinks and a bunch of things like that. And I realized that there really isn't more than two guitars, bass and drums, and the vocal. We just had to figure out the parts. And again, the instinctive thing about Pete is that Pete brings this really cool thing to everything that he does. It's rhythmic, it's cool, but it's always like a swaggery rock and roll thing.
Right.
And it's great because I would never play that in a million years, but it's so perfect and it fits the gap so much. So many times we've been like, I don't know what's going to happen with this song, and then Pete plays something like, oh, that's what we're going to do with it.
Right. It's like
no writing credit, Pete. Sorry.
No, but music credit man is getting.
He blush.
I was teasing.
Pete, what is it like to kind of go outside of Dramarama and just do a project like this? I mean, is it liberating? Is it fun? I mean,
the guys in the band are all in California, and I'm here in New Jersey, and I have some spare time, especially lately. And why not kick around with another band? No problem with that. It's all good.
Absolutely.
Songs are great, and it gives me something to do on a Tuesday night.
There you go. And the songs are great, by the way. This is Tom Kanach. Here he is on the A Game. We will be debuting his video, the new song, Now Close Your Eyes, coming up probably about 10 minutes from now. When it comes to Jersey music, I mean, there's so many different sections, and all three you can chime in on this, because, I mean, I look at Jersey. There was the Hoboken scene. Richard Barone, Fundamentals came out of there, Yola Tenga, the list goes on and on. Then there was New Brunswick, but New Brunswick sort of has a lot of different places. I mean, the Smithereens weren't necessarily New Brunswick. They sort of got lumped in New Brunswick, and you get Bouncing Souls, Gaslight Anthem. Then you get Asbury Park, which is more of the Springsteen Southside Johnny thing. It's
right.
I look at all three of you and I go, but I associate you more with the Jersey Shore, Joe, because that's where I knew you.
Right.
And Pete, I associate you more with North Jersey because that's where you're from, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, because a lot of your shows were more Asbury Park based, like the Fast Lane, the Stone Pony. So I don't know where I classify you in that vein. And then I go to Tom and I go, where do you fit in this whole thing?
Well, for starters, I would be totally, out of line if I didn't mention Long Branch, because I played a lot of shows in Long Branch, and I played the Brighton Bar hundreds of times. Yeah,
well, props to Greg Michaelino and the crew over there.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I love the Brighton. So
Dave has so many great artists that get their first break over there, and we wish it all well. We want to see the Brighton come back to life when it's time.
Yeah, but I mean, we were more of a Jersey Shore band. I mean, all the bands that I've been in.
Right.
So, like everybody else, we traveled and we played New Brunswick and we played New York and all that. But we were primarily a Jersey Shore. A lot of Asbury, because there was a time period when we played a lot of shows in Asbury that were great. And now I don't even know. So we're just starting to play. We were just starting to play again when this hit, so we don't know what it's going to be.
You've heard about these drive-in concerts. Would you guys, if you guys could do a show, I'm putting it out there, would you be willing to try something like that?
Anything,
Yeah,
we love to play. It's a lot of we everybody in the band has a really good sense of humor, and we torture each other. No one really tortures Pete because he's taller than a lot of us, but we really torture mostly Steve. Mostly Steve the drummer.
For sure.
No, Steve Busby is our drummer. He's great. He's a rare drummer that sings and comes up with great parts. And this is truly a band, more so than it's called Tom Kanach because it's my name. But
you make a great point. Go ahead, Pete. Pete, say that again. I'm sorry.
I thought it was Tom Kanach and the Immortals. What happened? Hey, hold on a second. No, that's okay. David Bowie, right?
Thank you. you're making a great point because I've listened to the music, and the one thing that when you guys harmonize together, and you're going to hear that, by the way, in Now Close Your Eyes, you're going to hear that in this song. So I want to build it up a little bit. The harmonies, it's like the four of you come together, and it's like you say, it's a band, even though it's your name. It's like you could do it, but it's like you need these other three people to kind of bring it to life.
You want to know the truth of what happened? We could not think of a name, and I gave Joe the requirement. It has to be something that is unique and that I will be easy for me to remember. And Joe said Tom Kanach, which was right. I totally have no problem remembering that, and it's pretty unique. There's only one other Tom Kanach in the world, so
there you go.
Death match, and then whoever wins gets in.
Yeah.
Well, look at it this way: the problem with this theory, and I know it's a minor problem, but let's say a couple of songs start to take off, he's getting a bulk of the profit because it's his name. Unless you made some kind of deal, I don't know. Not that I want to pry.
There's enough intimate photographs for blackmail around, so I think we were protected.
Those prison photos that we didn't want to go into, right?
We'll change the name to the Tom Kanachs. Like we're all Tom Kanachs.
You know, everybody, yeah, there you go. Keep pitching that. All
the
of a
Tom
sudden,
Kanachs.
right? It's like going on bass, Tom Kanach. You're on guitar. He looks like Peter Wood, but he's Tom Kanach.
I'm Kanach. I'm gonna sign.
The most my name's ever been said. I'm very uncomfortable with it. It's making me nervous.
Well, you've done your share of interviews. You should be used to hearing your name, though.
Yeah, but Joe doesn't usually say my name. We thought we had a deal.
There you go.
What do you want me to do? Continue? But Joe's the bass player. I mean, it's
no. Joe's so beside that, Joe's also the producer.
Yes, and
he plays the bass, but he also like Close Your Eyes. That part that he came up with is really like critical to the song, and he plays this like arpeggiated guitar part that's great. That I would have never thought of. That is really catchy. You'll hear it yourself sometime.
Yeah,
soon.
absolutely. You will be hearing.
But Joe's, everybody is contributing a lot to this, and it's really truly a band. And if there's money in the future, we'll sword fight.
There you go. I like to see that.
No, it's
pay-per-view.
It's great because definitely it feels like a band now. Like it wouldn't be the same without anybody, and everybody contributes. And
and it's fun. We really laugh a lot. Rehearsals feel good. Shows feel good. It's fun. I mean, if it wasn't, nobody would do it.
No, exactly. If it wasn't fun at this point, I mean, and especially now, I mean, this is probably. Do you guys feel more creative right now in the middle of all this craziness?
Well, for me, I have more time.
Right.
I usually work in the city, and so my commute is pretty heavy duty. But having that time back now, I've been recording. I'm getting up early and doing some work in the morning, or doing some work late at night, and been writing. I wrote most of the songs that I wrote. Joe's that was a couple of songs on the Change album as well. But the songs that I wrote during this, and they're all they tended to all have this feeling about them, like this intensity and this feeling of like sort of desperation. I mean, change is about the change that has to happen. I mean, it really is timely, and I really was impacted emotionally and mentally by all the things that happened. And Now Close Your Eyes is a love song that I think, like, if right now I was thinking about if things were bad and what would happen in the world, and as things sort of unravel a little bit, what would you say to somebody that you truly love? What would you say? And I wrote that lyric, imagining myself in that place. And so Now Close Your Eyes is about, I'm going to be here no matter what happens until the end. And it's really a love song about right now.
I like it. You're going to be hearing that probably in about 6 or 7 minutes. Can you tell I'm stretching it a little bit? But I always have one segment I always do before we wrap up. I call it Random Shots. These are some questions that I usually come up just by diving on social media. But I found one thing that kind of was very appropriate because as we're talking about what's going on in the pandemic, you put up a post on Instagram, which I thought was really just a kind of lighthearted but kind of fun, but it kind of was really appropriate. And Tom calls this lessons from the lockdown. Here are some things that he has learned during COVID-19. 1, how to use the thermometer. Seriously.
Well, the new thermometers.
Right?
Because the rectal thermometer is frowned upon now.
This is
the tongue thermometer. You can get those confused.
You know how old you are when we talk about the rectal
thermometer.
What your preferences? Again, going back to prison again. I'm telling you, every time it goes back there.
Told you.
Yeah, I know, Pete. You warned me. I know you warned me on that.
My mom would just feel my forehead and stick a popsicle in my ass too, because she liked it. That's the kind of woman she was.
Loving parent, I must say.
Joe never complained about a fever.
Well, yeah, I would tend to think.
After that first, or no, the third time.
The third time, right? It always comes in threes. You notice this, Joe? It always does.
Yes, it does.
Number 2 on the list. The third time is the charm when reorganizing your sock drawer.
I realized, so because all the clothes that are usually in the laundry, everything got washed. I didn't have enough room to put all the clothes away that I have, because for a long time I like had this apartment and I would just buy new clothes instead of cleaning clothes. So I ended up with a lot, and I realized I had a lot of socks. And when I had to put them all away, I just had to throw some away. I had to organize them by the ones that don't slide down and all the different things. So they're organized by color, by shape. It's very thorough.
Kind of anal.
Yeah. I discovered that I have binder of stock for the rest of my life. Like I have like big bins of socks.
Yeah.
And I've gone out and like, oh, I need socks. And same thing as you. You go out and buy socks. I do have probably like 80 pairs of socks in a bin in my basement, plus the 20 or 30 pairs in my drawer. So
this is fascinating about socks. Pete, what can you add to this?
I have socks that I never wear in my drawer, and
those are puppets, Pete.
Throw them out? No, I don't know.
There was that rule of thumb that says after a certain amount of time, certain things have to go. Supposedly.
The grandparents?
Well, I don't know if grandparents qualify as clothing, but
I didn't hear that.
Well, I understand why you went there. I do understand that. Tom Kanach here on the A Game. 2 more things in the lessons from the lockdown that he posted on Instagram. No matter how desperate people get for food, there's always a reason for turkey bacon, dairy-free Alfredo sauce, always available in the store, apparently.
So when there was no food, we noticed in several different stores, not just one, in several different stores, to be exact 2, that there was turkey bacon always available, which we eat, so that was good, and Alfredo sauce, which I can't eat, and that was very eye-opening. If I was somebody who did marketing for Alfredo sauce, I would have come up with we're the last resort, come get us now, like something to try and sell it, because stores were full of these big jars of regular Alfredo sauce.
You can say the brand. I mean, unfortunately, I'm Italian, so right there I look at it and go, no.
I'm pretty sure that is not Italian.
I know that. That's why I go, nope.
I've had good Alfredo sauce.
Oh.
That wouldn't be.
And one more from this list. I am willing to lie for toilet paper.
So I realized that I would in the right situation, but my girlfriend ordered a case of toilet paper randomly in January because there was a sale and it was an excuse to buy something online. And so we had a case of toilet paper, whether we needed it or not. But, as we got halfway through it, I started to think about stories I would tell about needing more than 2 rolls. And then that ended, so we're good.
Yeah, but I think, can we all agree that we're all guilty of having binged a little bit on toilet paper at some point during this pandemic? Joe, you first.
No, no.
No?
Like
Joe doesn't go to the bathroom.
Toilet paper.
Pete, bail me out here. You had to. Come on.
It always seems to be there. So somebody in my household gets it somewhere.
Right.
I don't get it. But
toilet paper is for suckers.
Wait a minute. Toilet papers for suckers. You know what? Come to think of it, don't want to go there.
Okay.
Don't think so. I don't even want to know like toilet papers for suckers.
I read this really fascinating article one time online about what they used to use, and they used to use a corn cob in an outhouse on a rope soaked in salt water. You would take it out, you would use it to chafe away the deposits of your previous eatings, and then you put it back in the salt water for the next person. And I thought
I have to bring that back, Tom.
Yeah.
Pete, like you said, it all goes back to how it all starts.
It's recycling.
Right now.
Yeah. You eat the corn, then you use that thing. I don't know.
First off, it sounds like painful. Then you got the how sanitary is this?
Well, it's soaked in salt water, so it seems like it would be a quick.
Is there butter involved? Because
That's a different use for.
Yeah, it's a different thing altogether.
God bless.
Absolutely.
Yes, from here.
And wrap up, Joe. What's one thing you've taken out of this pandemic? Because obviously he had 4 things. Tom did.
What do I think of the pandemic?
Oh, what have you taken out of the pandemic? Any kind of discovery for yourself?
Well,
he discovered don't lie for toilet paper. So what do you want?
I found that I like working at home when I was actually sleeping and not working. But I don't like working at home when I work. That's all
a
I've
big
learned.
discovery. That's a big discovery.
I love working from home. It's so much. I get so much more done. I'm on call longer. I don't have that long commute.
Do you notice nobody's in the middle on this? Either it's you really love it or you
I
really
love
hate
it.
it. There's
I love
there's no middle ground on that.
It's so I can I can check email and jump on the computer right away and work and take, like I can work early if I want to, late if I want to.
Right.
It's perfect.
And you
get that, Tom's boss?
Yeah. All right, Peter, what was your biggest discovery during this pandemic so far?
And I'm not enjoying it.
Well, there you go.
Pete, have you had a haircut yet?
I got a mall cut. Yeah.
No. Did you get a haircut since this?
That's a good question.
I got. Oh yeah, I got two since. I got
Oh,
one
really?
illegally. Don't tell anybody. And then
No, it stays with us.
Illegal haircuts are all the
the
rage.
you got to wear your mask, and then when the guy cuts around here, you got to pull your mask off, and then he does that. And then he does this side, and you pull the mask off.
You're still talking about haircut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still on
Yeah.
haircut, by the way.
Because your hair in the dark, your hair looks pretty high.
It's a little poofy. Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm
No,
jealous
it's
of
good.
all of you right now. That's all I'm going to say. I mean,
We have a promotion guy we hired.
right.
It's
And what is
Emmett,
this?
It's Emmett Shelley.
What the hell did you do?
It's a fan of the band we invested in.
Okay, I'm just going
And,
to put this up toward the camera a little bit more.
So
That is creepy.
Emmett.
Yeah.
Emmett. So
Let me show the back, by the way, so you can just get. This is a seashell that they've created, and you said Emmett is the.
Yeah.
Okay.
ask him a question. He talks.
Please, Tom, indulge.
I'm not gonna. The fucking thing's creepy
I'll
out.
say. So Emmett. So what's new? I just like Tom Kanach's music. He's a terrific artist, and I really love him.
So this is our promo idea. So
Oh
far.
my God.
We're actually working on our own podcast, and
Yeah.
Emmett's going to be the star.
Yeah, we thought this was a unique thing. Joe got this at
Goodwill.
Goodwill, because that's where we're shopping at. But
Yeah, well, this is what
I'm
happens
from
when you're a new
Goodwill.
band.
I'm from Goodwill.
You get some good deals at Goodwill, though.
But so we thought this was like a unique
I
thing.
I thought there was nothing else like it in the world.
I'll give you that. There's definitely nothing else like this.
There is.
I have never seen anything.
It's a thing. It was a thing. Like in Florida in the 60s and
Get outta
70s, people
here.
made these and sold them.
Wow.
And I know this.
How?
Tom bought, after I brought my promotion idea to him,
Right.
he hid a lot of these around my house. He bought them on eBay and Etsy, and they're out there.
Jeez.
Put in shell
Yeah.
clowns, and it's a thing, and people like them.
I want to
They
get up
love
for a
them.
second. I'm going to pass this to my engineer, Christian. Christian, I want you to get a good close up of this, so this way everybody
Don't get
can
too
really-
close, Christian. If it
Just
blinks,
so
throw
everybody
it.
gets
Have nightmares.
what we're talking about here.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead. There you go. There it is.
I'm Emmett Shelley. I'm a shell clown.
Now show the back, so this way you really can get an idea of the whole thing of going, yes, this is a shell.
I love Tom Kanach music. I love Tom Kanach music.
Why do I feel like I'll be reporting this someday?
You realize this will be held against you at some point.
No, those things that we actually thought about naming we're creating our own little company, and we were thinking about calling it Shell Clowns.
Well, you know what? Every band sort of has a shtick, has a little something. I mean, even Pete will defend me on this because when I was interviewing you with Dramarama, we brought up Tab. I mean, that's sort of like a stage prop for you guys at this point in
I
time.
would trade that. For
certainly is. We don't have to do a show without it.
Yeah. So this could be your stage prop at some point.
Is that a Fresca?
Or Fresca. There you go.
There you go.
Fresca. I've had Fresca as a grown-up. It's not as good as you think it was.
I like the grapefruit.
See, I grew up on
I had a
Diet.
bad experience with
Tangy.
grapefruit.
I grew up on Diet Shasta.
Shasta.
Yeah, because it had all the other flavors. That, like,
As soon as I could read and saw that it was like causes cancer in lab rats,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm giving this to my brother.
No, my wake up call came like years later. It was like I was working for a company and they were bringing in stuff, and then all of a sudden I'm asking questions. I'm like going, "What the heck is this?" It's like, this is stuff that goes into diet soda, and I saw on the thing, caution flammable. I went, maybe this is not a good idea to drink this. I could be wrong. I didn't know flammable stuff went into it.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
And that's the great thing about a podcast. It goes everywhere. This is the cool thing about it. It can go anywhere and everywhere. Guys, I appreciate you coming in. Tom Kanach, put up the EP photo again so this way we can remind everybody that there is music that can be purchased from Tom Kanach right now.
Why are you so angry? They're yelling at the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Rob is excited.
I'm excited.
Everybody gets excited or freaked out about.
You know what it is, Pete? I haven't been
times.
on the radio in so long. The fact that I'm talking about music and I'm actually going into shtick mode, I think that's what it is.
Like Regis
cold for the last 3 months.
But the EP is
nothing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's the bizarro world, and
I know this, but we have a new record out, and we can't even go play.
I know, and
it's great. It's great. I heard somebody on one of the radio stations today on Brookdale that was played cassette today and said great album, and I agree. It's Dramarama's new record. It's great, really great.
Absolutely, it's brilliant.
Thank you.
It is a brilliant album, and that's got to be frustrating for everybody when it's like you're releasing new music, you're getting critical acclaim, you're getting good reviews, and it's like, okay, we want to take it to the masses. Now, how do we do it? And you can't.
Yeah.
Not by the norm.
Tomorrow night, right? Tomorrow's the 18th or 17th, something like that. I forget.
Yeah.
We're supposed to. I don't think they ever announced it because they canceled before we even could tell everybody we were playing. What can you do?
Yeah, I know. Will there be maybe some virtual performances coming up for you guys? Maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
We're gonna do somebody's having a yard party, and we're gonna do some things around the September-October timeframe to support the release of
Very
Change.
cool. Very cool. Well, let me know so this way I can put it up on my Facebook page, and we'll let everybody kind of chime in on that. And again, get the music. And Peter, thank you for chiming in. You are now officially a semi-regular. I'll have you back when I talk football in September.
You might as well give me the key to the place because I'll just come and sleep on the couch.
I love it. Joe, good to see you, man. Really good to see you.
Thanks, Pete Santiago, Boz, Christian.
Pete Santiago, great guy.
Absolutely. And Tom, congratulations on
Thanks.
this new stuff. Good
Thank you.
luck with
Thanks,
it.
Rob.
This is the beginning. This is what you've been waiting for. This is the new video. This is the new song from Tom Kanach. This is called Now Close Your Eyes. Enjoy this. Thanks for being a part of the A Game tonight.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Enjoy the video.
Thanks. Good Steve.
Is all that's left. Your love is all I have. Your love is all I want and all I need. Now that we find that everything alive is fighting to survive. Memories of all that was are fading for me now. Where do we turn to now? Now that we've been struck down, how did we get from where we were to where we are? Now that everything is unraveling, let us swear with all our might we will stand here through the night as things are changing fast. passage of time as we're waiting for our son. Hold on until the end as things decay and we descend. Now, as the end is creeping near, I'm grateful you were here, facing all that will be out there for us, waiting still. All that's left is now. Promise to keep your vow. Forgive my lies. Hold me close till I close my eyes.
It's saying I'm still on the air, but I don't know. I guess I'm not.